بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we will learn about Takbeer Tashreeq. I will ask my teacher some questions. I hope you will learn too. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Could you please read Takbeer Tashreeq for us?
Yes, inshallah, I will repeat Takbeer Tashreeq. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallahu, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. I repeat, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallahu, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. Now I'm going to repeat faster. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallahu, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. I repeat, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallahu, Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd.
What is the meaning of Takbeer Tashreeq?
The meaning of Takbeer Tashreeq is quite simple. When we say Allahu Akbar, we are saying that Allah is greatest, Allah is greatest. When we say La ilaha illallah, it means there is no God but Allah. When we say Wallahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, it means and Allah is greatest, Allah is greatest. And when we say Walillahil hamd, it means all praise is for Allah. So in Takbeer Tashreeq, we are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, glorifying Allah, and confirming that we believe in one Allah, that God is one.
When do we read Takbeer Tashreeq?
So Takbeer Tashreeq is read during certain days. So Takbeer Tashreeq is read from the Fajr prayer of 9th of Dhul Hijjah or Dhul Hijjah till Asr of 13th Dhul Hijjah. So there are certain days when we have to read Takbeer Tashreeq. Now inshallah, let me explain a bit further regarding these dates. Islam has 12 months, and the last Islamic month is called Dhul Hijjah. It's also pronounced as Dhul Hajj, the month of Hajj. Now the month of Hajj is a very important month, and in particular there are few dates in this month which are very important. And the very important dates of this month are the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, the 10th, the 11th, the 12th, and also the 13th of Dhul Hijjah. Now why are these dates important? The 9th of the month of Hajj is important because it's a day of Hajj. When the 9th of Dhul Hijjah arrives, that is the day when the Hujjaj perform the Hajj in Makkatul Mukarramah. And on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah and also the 11th and the 12th, these are the dates of Eid, the big Eid, Eid-ul-Adha. So on 10th of the month of Hajj, we celebrate Eid and it lasts for 3 days. So these are the importance of these dates. So in terms of Takbeer Tashreeq, we start glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of Hajj. So on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, from the first prayer of the 9th, which is the Fajr prayer, we start Takbeer Tashreeq, and we do that for Zuhr, for Asr, for Maghrib, and for Isha. So all 5 prayers. And then the next day we carry on with Takbeer Tashreeq throughout all those 5 prayers. Similarly, on the 11th, on the 12th, we perform Takbeer Tashreeq after all the 5 first prayers. And on the 13th of this month, after performing Takbeer Tashreeq, after Asr first prayer, we finish Takbeer Tashreeq. So Takbeer Tashreeq starts from the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, from the Fajr time, and it ends after the Asr prayer on 13th of the month of Hajj. And in total, we have to perform Takbeer Tashreeq after 23 first prayers. So 5 on the first day, 5 on the second day, 5 prayers of the third day, 5 prayers of the fourth day, and only 3 prayers Salah after on the 13th day, and that totals up to 23 prayers. So we perform Takbeer Tashreeq during these dates.
Who has to read Takbeer Tashreeq?
Of course, Takbeer Tashreeq are so important that all of us can read at any time, because in those lines we are glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is also a certain criteria that if we fulfill that criteria, then it becomes important for us to read Takbeer Tashreeq. So if you read a first prayer, which is an obligatory prayer, behind an imam, in other words, we are following an imam in a jama'ah and in a masjid, in a mosque, then it becomes compulsory to read at least 1 Takbeer Tashreeq straight after the first prayer. So we have to fulfill this criteria, that we have to read a first prayer behind an imam in a masjid. Then it becomes compulsory, it becomes important for us to say at least 1 Takbeer Tashreeq straight after the first prayer. So this is the criteria, that if one fulfills, then they have to read at least 1 time Takbeer Tashreeq. So in other words, if we are reading an individual prayer in a masjid or at home, such as our sisters and women praying at home, then we don't have to read Takbeer Tashreeq. Because remember, Takbeer Tashreeq only needs to be read if we are following a first prayer behind an imam in a masjid, then it becomes compulsory. But if we are reading at home as an individual person, then we don't have to read Takbeer Tashreeq. Even if we read prayer in a masjid individually, then again we don't have to say the Takbeer Tashreeq. But If we do say Takbeer Tashreeq after our individual prayers, then obviously we get a lot of reward. Now, so far, I have said that Takbeer Tashreeq should be read at least one time, but it is better to read Takbeer Tashreeq at least 3 times. So therefore, when we are reading Takbeer Tashreeq, we actually read it 3 times instead of just one time. And also, it's better for men and boys to read aloud without disturbing anyone else. So for boys and for men, it's better to read in a loud voice. And one last point, that if you forget to read Takbeer Tashreeq straight after the first prayer, then obviously we can read them whenever we remember them, but it's not compulsory to do so. In other words, there is no making up for Takbeer Tashreeq if we miss them. But obviously, if we do, whenever we remember, if we do repeat Takbeer Tashreeq, then we do get sawab for it. We do get reward for it. In summary, it's important to read Takbeer Tashreeq 3 times after first prayer in Jama'ah, which is congregational prayer in a masjid. So this is a very simple criteria that when we fulfill, we should read Takbeer Tashreeq. And in Takbeer Tashreeq, we are glorifying Allah and we are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like the people of Hajj, people who are performing Hajj, they're glorifying Allah in Arafat and in Makkah al-Mukarramah, in Mina, during the time of Hajj. As Muslims staying in our own cities, in our own homes, we can also imitate the Hujjaj, the people who have gone on Hajj, and remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a similar way and receive His blessings and receive His rahmah in our own homes, in our own cities. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable all of us to perform Hajj, to perform Umrah, to visit the holy places of Makkah al-Mukarramah and Madinah al-Munawwirah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us steadfast on the right path. Ameen. Jazakallah khairan for listening.
Jazakallah khairan for your answers.